Thank you so much. Hamjamboni nyote? Hatujamboni tena. Tafadhali salimia jirani yako mmekaa naye kutoka asubuhi, hata hujamsalimia anashangaa leo nimekaa na nani. Salimia kidogo. You never know, the person sitting next to you will be the next stakeholder in your business. I don't know which business, you know it better. Thank you so much. Our chief guest, sir, the Ministry of Education officials, the TSU officials, the BOM, the PAs, parents and students and all invited guests. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. Okay, fine. Kwa majina naitwa Gerishom Okonda. Gerishom Okonda amesafiri all the way from Western Kenya kuja kuona Ukambani vile kunakaa. Nimekaribishwa. Thank you so much. I am a corporate trainer, and let me say that today my conversation will be relating so much closely to the teachers in the function, because I am a teacher. The only difference is that I focus on adult education. I teach the corporate world. But one thing that I'm very excited about is that I've been a youth mentor for the last 26 years. And so at some point, I was given an International Peace Ambassador Award for mentoring and coaching young people on character education by the United Nations, and so I got an International Peace Ambassador Award. So I have something I can also share with the youth. And the elevation of them all, I was appointed to serve as the president of World Youth Parliament in Geneva, in the youth office. Now, the reason why I was given that position is because I was given a mantle and a mandate that anywhere I go across the world, I should not leave the place without planting a seed that can ensure the future generation is taken care of. And so wakati nilialikwa na madam principal kuja kuwaongelesha, I told myself, now I have a duty, because in my audience there will be youth, in my audience there will be teachers, and in my audience kutakuwa na wazazi. Now I won't talk much, but I will give a story, and in this story it's going to bring out the theme. It will give a direction to the theme, ambayo theme ya leo is enhancing the holistic growth of students to attain what? Higher academic success. Now the story is a local Kenyan story. I like giving Kenyan story because God has been faithful to me, kwamba nimezungumza kwa mashule na kampuni tofauti kwa nchi karibu 17. So I borrow experiences from different quarters so that whatever I speak, it is meant to tickle someone's mind, to awaken someone's energy, and to see whether we can be able to see our future more clearly than we were seeing it yesterday. Over here, hadithi ni hadithi ya Kenya. It's a true story. The only thing is I will not mention the name for the purpose of the meeting. I will change the name of the actors in the story. Zamani kulikuwa na kampuni ilikuwa inaitwa Pan Paper. Kazi yao ilikuwa ni kutengeneza makaratasi. Kenya tulikuwa tunatoa makaratasi China. We were making our own from Pan Paper. Kuna kampuni ambayo ina-exist mpaka wa sasa inaitwa Team Cells. Team Cells kampuni ya kazi yao ni kutengeneza bidhaa vya zambao. And so there's a time Pan Paper walikuwa na contract kubwa sana na Team Cells. Wakaambia Team Cells, tunataka mtu supply na miti nyingi sana. Zaidi ya 200,000 pieces for a period of 30 years. Kwa sababu ya kutengeneza makaratasi. So that contract ilibidi waajiri watu wengi sana. Na nataka msikiza hii hadithi pole pole kwa sababu out of this story, whatever I wanted to put across will come out. And so you have to be keen. So they decided to employ more people, but I want to talk about the many who are employed And for the purpose of understanding, tuko na wazazi, nitakuwa natumia Kiingereza na Kiswahili in equal measure. Kwa hivyo hii kampuni ikaamua kuajiri watu. There were 2 young men. Moja nitampatia jina Francis na lingine nitampatia jina James. Msikize kwa makini sana. Na wanafunzi ambao mko hapa, msikize kwa makini sana. Maana hii hadithi ukikumbuka, utakumbuka the lesson iko ndani. Kwa walimu ambao mko hapa, ukikumbuka hiyo hadithi, we'll learn the lesson, you'll get the lessons out. So these 2 young men applied for a job which they did not qualify for. They were not among wale walikuwa shortlisted. Lakini kulingana vile walikuwa mienendo zao wakati wa hiyo process ya interview, walikuwa wa kusaidia sana kupanga kazi, wamevaa vizuri sana, mienendo yao ilikuwa mizuri sana, attitude yao ilikuwa nzuri sana. Then HR akasema hawa, this is the right character, and the word character has been mentioned sometime. This is the right character we should be employing even if they don't have the skills that we were looking for. So wakaamua kupewa kazi. Na hiyo kazi ilikuwa kazi ya kwenda kwa forest kukata miti, ambayo haihitaji akili nyingi sana, lakini inahitaji nguvu zako na the right attitude. Are we together, parents? Yes. And so they were given a job. Lakini hiyo kazi walipewa, there's an extra, the only tool walipewa ni shoka, nothing else. They were only given an axe. Not only the axe, but they were also, each and one of them, given a target. When I look at the word to enhance, and I look at the word to attain, kwa hiyo theme, I'm seeing the word target. So these 2 young men, Francis and James, walipewa nini? Walipewa nini? By the way, my conversation is very interactive. Mtapata nyingi mtaongeza ili kuliko mimi. They were given a target. Each one of them waliambiwa kwa siku moja, you'll be cutting down 10 trees. Ni mti ambayo is a softwood, inaitwa Pinus patula kwa wale ambao wamefanya biolojia. It's a pepper tree. Kila mmoja alipata target ya kata miti 10. So week 1, Francis was doing 10, James was doing 10. Week 2, each and every single day, Francis was doing 10, James was doing 10 up to the 3rd week. Kufikia wiki ya 4, there was a variance in the performance. Matokeo yao ya kufanya kazi kila siku ilikuwa tofauti. And each one of them, of course, were working under a supervisor who was always monitoring their report, their record, their performance. Today we have people from the Ministry of Education, we have BOM, we have TSC, and so that supervisor is representing the people I'm just mentioning. Ikafika mahali Francis hakuwa anakata miti 10, lisikizeni vizuri kabisa. Francis now was doing 11, 12, the highest he ever did in one day was 14 trees. 14. What was the target? 10. But now he's doing 14. James on the other side, his performance started deteriorating. He was struggling doing 9, coming down to 7, going down to 5. The lowest he ever did in one day was 4 trees. Target yake ilikuwa ngapi? 10. Asa yeye anafanya ngapi? 4 in a day. Kufikia hapo, the supervisor called them from meeting. I don't know whether it's a meeting like the one we are having today. And I don't know who will be representing the supervisors today. But a meeting was done what? It was called. In that meeting, maswali matatu yaliulizwa. For those of you who can memorize the question, well and good. For those who are writing down, well and good. Because this is exactly what we need to be asking ourselves. So the first person to be asked a question, alikuwa Francis. Francis akaulizwa na supervisor, Francis, tell me something. What is your secret? And so for those who are writing down, you can put it somewhere. What is your secret? Sikizeni majibu ya Francis. Francis said the following: I don't know whether it's the secret, but I have made it a habit. I have made it a what? Alisema, every time I cut down one tree, I sit down to take a rest. When I'm taking my rest, I don't just take a rest for that matter, but I evaluate my performance. I look at how sharp my axe is. I evaluate my energy. Is it enough to face the next tree? And anytime I find that my axe is blunt, sikizeni vizuri, I take my personal file. Mnajua ile file ile ya kunoa kisu, ya kunoa shoka, ya kunoa panga. But sikizeni vile amesema, I take my what? My personal file, and in the process of taking a rest, I start sharpening my axe. He continued and said and told the supervisor, the reason why I do this is because when I'm facing the next tree, I'll have more energy, but not only that, I'll have a more sharper axe to cut down the next tree. That was the end of Francis' answer. Umeshika lessons hapo? Twende kwa James. Wakati James ilifika wakati wake, a question was asked to James. And I want you to listen to this question because it's a very common question even in our own homes. James was asked, James, let me ask you, what is your problem? Aliulizwa nini? What is your problem? Sijui kama ushaulizwa hii swali kwa maisha yako. Students, have you ever been asked by a teacher, what's your problem? Students, I'm talking to you. Have you ever been asked this question, what is your problem? Wazazi ushaulizwa hii swali na mtu? You know, we are before children and so we can't speak much. But sometimes as a parent or as a couple, you know, it gets to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. when you will be asked a question, what is your problem? When the bedroom turns to be a courtroom and questions and answers are needed. Whenever you are asked this question by your boss, it doesn't matter who, so long as you're within the partnership of any enterprise, it means there's a problem and the problem needs to be solved right now. And so James was asked, what is your problem? Sikiliza vile James alisema. James alikuwa amevaa apron ya green. Ametoka forest. So he folded his sleeves, akakunja sleeves zake vizuri, and then he stretched out all his arms. Ladies and gentlemen, James' hands was full of blisters. I'm talking about bloody blisters. You could not look at that picture twice. And this is the only thing he told his boss. My heart is willing, but my hand can't hold an axe. I tried hard, and the harder I tried, the more I injure myself. And he was asked a question, why do you think you have blisters? Listen very, very carefully. Students, I want you to listen to this. Parents, I want you to listen to this. And teachers, I'll call you my fellow teachers because I also do teaching. Listen to these answers. James said, number one, the company gave me a blunt axe. He said the following, this company does not have files. I was never allocated one. Number three, he said, the trees I'm cutting in that forest, they are very hard. Every time I strike an axe, it bounces back. That's why I'm having what? Angalia jirani yako upande wa kushoto na kulia. Mwambie, life of excuses is life of failures. Mwambie. Mwambie tena, hajasikia mwambie kwa Kikamba. Unajua ningejua Kikamba ningesema. Maisha ya kupeana excuse ni maisha ya watu ambao wanaelekea kuanguka. Excuses. So the third question, I said there were three questions, right? The third question was directed to James. James akaulizwa, let me ask you, James, when is the last time you sharpened your axe? Ni lini ulinoa nini? Shoka yako. Now you see, the supervisor, the superior, the board, the association is asking a question borrowed from the success story of Francis. Hiyo swali sasa inaulizwa nani? James. When is the last time you sharpened your axe? And James said, to be very sincere, sir, since I was employed in this organization, I've never sharpened the axe. Supervisor alisema tu, no wonder the blisters. And that's the end of my story. Going forward for the remaining few minutes, I want us to do a dissection. I want us to do a postmortem. Nataka tuangalie ndani ya hii hadithi, tujiulize exactly what is the lesson that we can take home. I know I've been given a chance, or I'm getting a chance when it is the sun is directly above our head. But I will pray that God gives you that understanding in this story, because this understanding will transform the academic standards of your child and so for this school. Kila mtu sema, God give me the spirit of understanding. God give me what? The spirit of understanding. You know why I'm saying you ask God to give you the spirit? Because if you listen to these lessons as a human being, many of you will not like me. Because you might think that I was tailored and called to come and talk about you. No, I don't know you. Nimetoka wapi? Nimetoka wapi? Nilitoka Western jana. Na nikafika hapa leo asubuhi. So I don't know you. Hata Madam Principal hatujai kutana, tumekuwa tukiweka wazimu. So listen and listen very carefully. Why I'm saying you need a spirit of understanding, because there are people in this world where even when they are hungry and you give them a donut, those of you who understand what a donut looks like. Donut sio mandazi? Ni kama mandazi lakini iko na shimo? Kuna watu ukiwapatia donut anaangalia hiyo shimo peke yake. Mbona iko complete? Mbona isiko kama mandazi? That's why it's called a donut. I ever spoke this story to a very resistant mindset somewhere else, in a different country. Haikuwa hapa, it was in Zimbabwe. And the only understanding I could have that with that audience ni kama ya ule professor ambaye siku moja alienda kwa class kufundisha wanafunzi, na siku hiyo alikuwa anataka kuongea mambo ya ubaya ama madhara ya kutumia pombe haramu, pombe kali. So what did that professor do? Alichukua maji fresh, right? Akaweka kwa glasi moja, akachukua pombe kali kama chang'aa, akaweka kwa glasi nyingine. Alafu akachukua minyo ile earthworm, mnaijua earthworm ile mnyo, akaiweka kwa maji fresh, na wakaona inaswim vizuri kabisa, imefurahia, haina shida yoyote. Saa kidogo akachukua mnyo mwingine ama ile earthworm mwingine, akaiweka kwa ile glasi iko na chang'aa ndani. Within 45 seconds ilikuwa rapture, imekufa, imekuwa damu kabisa, imeisha. Then the answer, as obvious as it was, akauliza mwanafunzi mmoja ambaye anapenda pombe sana. Akamuuliza, what lesson do you find in this experiment? Mwanafunzi juu alikuwa anataka kuongea, anataka asikie. Akasema, professor, inaonekana ukikunywa chang'aa hautakuwa na minyoo kwa tumbo. Sometimes we give an answer of what we want to hear because we are resistant to change. But let me give you the lessons very fast so we can be able to close my chapter. Number one, you realize that Francis alikuwa na siri. For you to be an academic giant or a performer, there must be what's called success habits. Kuna mienendo fulani lazima uige ndio attract your success or you achieve what you want in life. Are we together?
Yes.
One of them, we see that he had time to take a rest. And when he was resting, he was not just doing there. Alikuwa anafanya self-evaluation. Self what? Wanafunzi hai. Wanafunzi, naona sweta ziko juu ya kichwa. Wanafunzi hai. Every time you do a test, don't bother with what you got right. Focus on what you got wrong. That's where your problem is. I tell my sons that wakati ile hesabu nimefail, hiyo ndio na focus nayo. Maana nilikuwa nadhania najua kumbe sijui. Doing a self-evaluation is very important. Mzazi, do self-evaluation. Mbona tu wewe unaandika wangu barua kila mara, wewe school fees balance. Wewe lazima, kama uko na file, you have more reminder letters than any other. Walimu, self-evaluation. Why are you having a mean score on a certain subject? Do it being so low. Do a self-evaluation. Ask yourself some questions. Kumbuka kuna maswali matatu ambayo yaliulizwa kwa ile mkutano. What is your secret? What is your problem? And when is the last time you sharpened your what? Facts. Number 2, tunaona Francis alikuwa na tabia ama mwenendo. Alikuwa na ile mwenendo wa all the time he's sitting down, he's sharpening the what? He's sharpening the what? The person you are today is not the final version. There's a better version if you continue sharpening your axe. Teachers, listen to me very carefully. The much effort you are putting in class is not enough. If you sharpen more of your axe, you'll find that there's a better version of you. Students, listen to me very carefully. If you continue sharpening your axe, especially when the axe is blunt. You see, the word blunt represents what you don't know, what cannot work for you, what you strike a tree and it bounces back. And what are you developing, everybody? James alikuwa na nini? James alikuwa na nini huko? Blisters. Blisters are the problems you attract in life because you are incompetent, you are ineffective, and you are not efficient. And the answer is only one. Identify where the bluntness is and sharpen your axe. Are you together? Yes. Francis exceeded expectations. Hakuwa nakata 10, alifikisha 14. Why? Because he was having the right tools. But let's look at it carefully. Francis alisema nini? When I find that my axe is blunt, what do I do? Hapana. Hakusema I sharpen my axe. Kuna kitu alisema kwanza. I take my personal file. What does that tell you? The government might not provide everything to you teachers. The TS might not provide everything. The administration might not provide anything. But what is that extra tool, that extra talent, that extra gift that God has given you that you can use to sharpen your axe and become a better teacher? Students, the same thing. Your parents could be struggling to pay school fees. That's not an excuse to score less. Your parent might not have bought you all the books you want, but that's not an excuse to perform. That's why the school has a library. Leave alone library. Kuna the art of building relationship. I did that when I was in school. Yes. I used to identify those students who have so much. And I make them my friends. Not the friendship ya kuombana mkate ama sukari ama anything else. Kumuomba ile textbook anasomanga. I remember if people were to classify parents who never paid schools on time, my mom was one of them. I'm not going to mention about my father. Because my father had 3 wives and he gave birth to a total of 27 children. Me number 24. Angaleni sasawa. So alikuwa anasema, and this is what my mom told me later, it was not his responsibility to educate. He was like, how many can you educate? I give you. So my mom had 11. Kwa stream, unajua kuna kwa na general class number na stream, sio? Kwa general class I was 24. Kwa ile stream ya mama ilikuwa I was number 10 out of 11. Unaona mzee alifanya kazi? Watoto pia ni gharama. Msifanye kazi kama ile ya baba yangu. Right? But I can tell you, I spend more time at the marketplace with my mother trying to raise school fees than I spend in class. So the only thing that made me go through and succeed and pass my exam, I build relationship with the performing ones. Wakati wanasoma number 1, so and so, number 2, so and so, number 3, number 5. Those were the ones I would befriend to make them my close friends so that I can do what? I can borrow something from them. I can be closer to them so I can borrow the books. I can study with them. I go play with them. I would even support. Nikuletea maji moto. Unajua kwa shule tulikuwa na maji moto ya kunywa chai. Nakuletea. As much as I'm doing that, kazi yangu ni nini? To bring you close so that I can do what? I can know the secret of your success. So go an extra mile, sharpen your axe. Wacha tuangalie James nikimalizia. James alisema nini? Mnakumbuka vitu James alisema? Mnakumbuka? Number 1 alisema nini? My heart is willing, but my hand can't handle the axe. Ni kweli. Na akasema ni kwa sababu gani ya uko niko na blisters? Number 1. Kampuni haijampatia ile file ya kunoa axe. Na hakuna siku utapata. If you're looking for a perfect company, a perfect school to teach, a perfect place to be, it will never be there. You are the one who completes the perfection. Yes. Personal effort. Personal what? Effort. I've spoken to both the international schools, national schools here in Kenya for a local curriculum, district, you name them. But I've come to learn something, that it is not the school that performs, it's the student in the school. Are we together? Yes. It's your personal decision. Students, listen to me very carefully. Make a personal decision that I'm going to emerge after my 4 years here, my 3 years, for those who are remaining with 3 years, those who are remaining with 2 years, and Form 4s. I wish I had time to come back and only have accession with Form 4s. You can have a negative attitude towards the place. Huku kambani kwote nililetwa. Sasa LEMA ndio shule ningepewa. I wish ningekuwa nalipa level fulani ya pesa. Oh yeah, allowance. There are so many things you can be asking for, and you realize now they are making your attitude to turn a bit negative. For the students, we can talk different story. For the teachers, it's only your career you're stabbing into. I remember there was a speaker, I met him once sometime in South Korea, alikuwa Miles Munro, kwa wale ambao wanamjua nikimalizia. Miles Munro, we went to a Leaders Academy in South Korea for 6 months. Na akaitwa kwa wiki 2 kutufunza. Nakumbuka Miles Munro, kwa wale ambao wanaweza tafuta kujua mambo yake, alikuwa hapa Kenya mara ya mwisho akienda kufa. Alikuwa Jeff Koinange live. Akahojiwa kuhusu mambo ya leadership and achieving your dream. Na Jeff Koinange, kutoka hapo akachukua ndege kwenda kutua Bahamas, crash na akakufa na familia yake yote. But the lessons are still alive. He told us this, and I want to direct this to the leadership, because my talk was focusing on students, teachers, and parents. This is for the teachers. Miles Munro said, in every egg, there's a bird. In every seed, there's a tree. In every boy, there's a man. In every girl, there's a what? Akamaliza hapo. Akasema, now let's go into a profession. What do you see when you look at, number 1, a doctor? And he said, in every doctor, there must be a hospital. And he was saying this on the screen. Don't wait to die at the age of, or to retire at the age of 60 for you to say, now I've been a doctor for 40 years. No! It means you are going to retire with a hospital inside you. Give birth to it. He said in every security officer there's a security firm. He said in every teacher there's a school. And then he asked a question for the teachers. So if there is a school in every teacher, how would you model your school to be an excellent school? It means where you are practicing right now, start practicing the excellency with the school that God has blessed you to go and teach. Are we together? Yes. Always look at each and every young lady or a young man as a student and see excellency. Me, when they were performing here and they were scouting here and they were seated there, me, I'm not just seeing girls. No. I'm seeing women reps of the future. I'm seeing the doctors of the future. Nimeona hata lawyers hapa wakituimbia leo. Even some of you, you are because you are. You are because you are. And someone took time to develop you. Are we together? Are you together? Nataka kupatia wazo langu la mwisho to the men in the meeting. Men, it doesn't, regardless whether you are sitting on this side or on this side. And I'm saying this because I'm in a girls' school. Can I say it as I finish? Yes. Men in the house. Wanaume semeni ahu. Wanaume semeni ahu. That voice, we were taught in some program called Man Enough, that it's a representation of a lion in the house. A lion, the king. But it comes with responsibilities. Why I'm saying this, because I'm in a girls' school, it's because I want to give you an academic revelation that maybe some of us who never had a chance to be taught, but some of us who had a chance to be taught by some doctors, by some psychologists, somewhere in some workshop. Sikizeni vizuri. They say, children go through 4 stages. Stage number 1, kuanzia 0 to 18 months kwa mtoto msichana. Kama ni kijana, from 0 months to 14 months. Wakati msichana anafikisha 18 months old, na kijana wako kwa nyuma anafikisha 24 months old, their stage is called sexual stage. And I'll tell you why. Because before that stage, watoto hawajuangi kama mimi ni boy ama girl. Brain yao haijadevelop kujua ama boy ama girl. Tuendelee? So the moment mtoto msichana anafikisha 18 months, they identify themselves as a girl. Wanaweza chelewa wafikishe miaka miezi 24, depending on the kind of food you are feeding them, ama ile environment wanalelewa ndani. But 18 months is target for the girls. Do you know what happens? And do you know why it's called sexual stage? Because number 1, they identify that they are girls, they are not boys. But number 2, that is a say, psychologically, that's the time mtoto msichana anaanza kutafuta the first boyfriend in his life, in her life. Sikizeni vizuri. And I'm using the word boyfriend intentionally. So it happens that the most dominant man or boyfriend in the house is the father. And so girls fall in love with their father at 18 months, 24 months. Wow. And so this attachment becomes so strong mpaka miaka 9 ifike. Wakati wanafikia miaka 9, they go to a stage we call identity stage. When they are getting to the adolescence, that's when they can stick to you as the first boyfriend or divorce you. Depending on how close you are. I want to encourage the ladies who are in the room, the ladies who are listening to me, if there's a man next to you mwenye amekuja kama mzazi wa mtoto hapa, mpigie makofi. Kwa mgongo na mwambia asante sana kwa kuja. These girls don't need the attention of their mother here more than they need their fathers. And so I'm encouraging more men. If you are here, I encourage you, keep coming. Unajua nafanyikana kwa kina mama kwa kanisa, hao ndio wamejaa. Mikutano ya chama, hao ndio wamejaa. Mkutano ya parents wa mama ndio wamejaa. Men, where are we? Because these girls need our attention. So as you go home, parents, direct your attention to these girls. And I like what an official, the principal here amesema, that the highest concentration for good performance requires that mwanafunzi akwe na what % of contact na mwalimu? 75%. Don't let me reveal this to you that at home, it is said a parent needs only 55% ya muda wake na mtoto wake. Stop being absent at home. Take time, go out with them, go for a walk, go in the park. They are going to open up more of their germs problems, which are the blisters in their life. If you don't do that, guess who will attend to them? TikTok will give them attention. Either way, they have to get what? Either way, they have to get what? Attention. Usipowapatia attention, watapewa na nani? Anakuambia kitu, mama nisaidie na simu yako kidogo tu niangalie. Kumbe anaenda kuona nani? TikTok. Because of time, I won't say much. But I want to stop there. And as I stop here, I want to have a reflection of exactly what you think about the future of that child as a parent. For teachers, you are the compass of the future of this nation. Whatever you tell them, they will believe. The support you give them will reflect in their future career. The only thing I know I did not mention is between age 2 and age 9, what usually happens in it was the belief system development stage. Anything you tell a child, they believe you like a Bible story. Ukimwambia wewe ni mjinga sana, ata believe age 2 to age 9 wewe ni mjinga. So sometimes if you're having challenges with some of our girls, it's because there's something they have been carrying for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years when they're in that stage, and they're carrying it today in a classroom. And then now the teacher has to take over that problem and carry it on for 4 years. So, education has 3 main stakeholders. Sita mention ya serikali na commission, 3 stakeholders. Number 1, mzazi. Number 2, mwalimu. Number 3, the real stakeholder mwenyewe. It takes the effort of all the 3 to make sure that they get what they want. But with the change of their attitude, trust me, it can change the academic standards of this school. I know they scored around 4 point something. It was 4.8. But with an extra effort, I know we can exceed the 6.0 that I had the principal mentioning. How many of you want us to go for 6.0 plus? Put up your hand, and clap for yourself. You can do it. It has been done before, and the secret between the performing schools and others who could not be performing is in the change of the school culture, which takes like a whole time to change. But it takes also an iron hand of leadership and wisdom for you to change a school culture. Otherwise, tutakuwa tunasumbukana tu, unapatiwa hiyo unasema sio enough. Kwa library vitabu hazitoshi. Ukienda kwa payslip mshahara haitoshi. Ukipatiwa motivation unasema sasa hii ndio mnatupatia peke yake. You become complainants. We become complainants and things will not work. Otherwise, allow me to stop it there until God gives us another chance to have together. Mungu awabariki sana.
So thank you so much, our guest speaker.